India and China disengaged at multiple points in eastern Ladakh. Chinese troops and infantry combat vehicles moved back by 2.5 kilometers. India also moved some of its troops back. Army commanders to meet today to discuss further course of action. Supreme Court directs centre and states to facilitate return of migrant workers to their homes within 15 days. Asks states to collect data for giving employment to migrant workers after mapping their skills. Railways Minister Piyush Goyal says will provide trains to states as per their demands. Senior BJP leaders Ravi Shankar Prasad and Nitin Gadkari to address Jan Samvad rallies today for Himachal Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh respectively. Union Home Minister Amit Shah addresses West Bengal Jan Samvad rally through video conference. Slams Mamata Banerjee government over political violence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds telephonic conversation with President of Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, discusses steps being taken by the two governments to address the challenges arising out of COVID-19 pandemic. Group of ministers review containment measures for COVID-19. Central teams deployed to 50 municipal bodies facing high COVID-19 caseload to ensure better coordination between centre, states and municipal bodies. More than 1.29 lakh COVID-19 patients cured and discharged in the country. Total number of active cases is now 1,29,813. WHO chief warns that COVID-19 pandemic is worsening globally, urges countries to not drop guard. Over 72.27 lakh people worldwide are infected by COVID-19 with more than 4,10,000 deaths. Good morning, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. Our top story first. In a major development, India-China Army Commander level talks will be held today to discuss further course of action. Now, according to top army sources, India and China have disengaged at multiple points in eastern Ladakh. Troops and infantry combat vehicles have been moved back by 2.5 kilometers by People's Liberation Army in Galwan area, patrolling point 15 and Hot Springs area. India has also moved some of its troops back. To get us more on that, our correspondent Sudhir Yadav is joining us on phone line. Sudhir, we've told our viewers that India-China Army Commander level talks will be held today and both of the armies have moved back by 2.5 kilometers. You get us more details.
बिल्कुल प्रीति, देखिए ये जो टॉक्स है वो मेजर जनरल लेवल टॉक्स है। जो डिविजनल कमांडर्स होते हैं उनके मध्य बिटवीन ये टॉक्स है। इससे पहले जो कोर कमांडर के लेवल पे हायर लेवल पे जो टॉक्स हुआ था उसमें दोनों जो कंट्रीज थे उन्होंने आगे किस तरीके से जो आमने सामने सेना एक दूसरे के आ गई थी पेट्रोलिंग पॉइंट्स, तो उनको कैसे डिसएंगेज किया है उस पर डिस्कशंस हुए थे। उसी की कड़ी में ये दूसरी टॉक्स है जो डिविजनल कमांडर्स हैं उनके लेवल पे। तो जाहिर तौर पर जैसा कि जो टॉप आर्मी सोर्सेज है उनकी तरफ से खबर आई थी कि कल जो दोनों सेनाएं हैं वो कुछ पीछे हटे हैं, कुछ 3 जो पॉइंट्स हैं उन पर दोनों सेनाएं पीछे गई हैं। तो जाहिर तौर पर अब जो आगे की बातचीत को लेकर किस तरह आगे चीजों को लेकर बढ़ा जाए, फ्यूचर को लेकर, डिसएंगेजमेंट को लेकर किस तरीके से चीजें आगे लेके जाएं, उसी चीजों के लिए बातचीत होगी। लेकिन जिस तरीके से दोनों देश लगातार इस चीज पर इस बात को लगातार कहते रहे हैं कि बातचीत जो है वो सबसे बेहतरीन तरीका है कि जो दोनों सेनाएं आमने सामने एक दूसरे के आ गई हैं उससे बातचीत के जरिए इस चीज को हल किया जाए। प्रीति,
all right, Sudhir, also this is taking forward the intention of both the sides to continue the talks and ensuring that these talks do not further get into disputes. Isn't this the way both the sides are moving forward is a confirmation on this?
बिल्कुल प्रीति, देखिए दोनों कंट्रीज की तरफ से लगातार हमारे यहाँ भी जो टॉप लेवल जो टॉप लीडरशिप है उसकी तरफ से एंड चाइनीज बोथ साइड से लगातार इस चीज को कहा गया है कि जो टॉक्स है वो लगातार जारी रहेंगी और इसको एक डिस्प्यूट नहीं बनने दिया जाएगा। तो जाहिर तौर पर उसी तरफ चीजें चलती जा रही हैं और जिस तरीके से कल जिस तरीके से दोनों सेनाएं पीछे हटी हैं तो एक कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग है दोनों सेनाओं के बीच की चीजें जो है वो वर्कआउट हो रही हैं। ये जाहिर सी बात है प्रीति की इसमें थोड़ा सा वक्त जरूर लगेगा, लेकिन अगर दोनों देशों की सेनाओं के बीच में अगर कोई मतभेद उभरता है, कोई गलतफहमी पैदा होती है तो उसके लिए एक सेट मैकेनिज्म है, उसी के आधार पर ये बातचीत हो रही है और लगातार जो एक कॉर्डियल एनवायरनमेंट है उसमें ये बातचीत हो रही है। तो जाहिर तौर पर इसका जो नतीजा है वो आने वाले वक्त में नजर आएगा।
All right, Sudhir, thank you so much for joining us with those inputs. That was our correspondent Sudhir Yadav telling us more about the army commanders level talks which will happen today between India and China. We'll keep you posted. In other news, let's talk more about the other updates in a major relief for migrant workers. Supreme Court has directed all states and the centre to ensure that all workers who want to return home shall be sent to their hometowns within 15 days. Now, in its orders, the Apex Court said that all the states and union territories shall take all necessary steps regarding the identification of stranded migrant workers in their state and make arrangements for their return journey by train or by bus. The court has also said that in addition to the demand of 171 Shramik trains, if states request for additional trains, the railways shall provide it within 24 hours. The Supreme Court and its order has also asked states and union territories to take steps to provide jobs to workers who have reached their homes. The state governments have been asked to prepare a policy to provide jobs to those workers who lost their jobs due to the lockdown. States and union territories have been asked to prepare a complete list of migrant workers. The states and union territories to provide details of current schemes to benefit the workers. The centre too has to give details of all schemes which can be availed by workers who have returned to their native places. The court has directed the states to do a skill mapping of the workers so that they can identify their skills and provide them with a suitable job. In order to facilitate the workers, the top court has asked states to establish counselling centres and help desks to provide all necessary information regarding government schemes. Counselling centres shall also extend helping hand to those migrant workers who have returned to their native places and want to return to their places of employment. The court has also asked states and union territories to consider withdrawing legal complaints lodged against the migrant labourers who allegedly violated measures of lockdown by moving on roads. And signalling the government's commitment towards welfare of migrant labourers and complying with the Apex Court's order, Railways Minister Piyush Goyal has tweeted that Railways will continue to provide Shramik special trains to the states as demanded. Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed his third Jan Samvad rally, addressing the people and party workers in West Bengal. He accused the TMC government of pushing the state towards poverty and backwardness. He held Mamata Banerjee responsible for ignoring the welfare of the people of the state, and he said that she has roadblocked the implementation of Ayushman Bharat scheme as well as several other central government schemes. He also accused Trinamool Congress government of indulging in violence, corruption, extortion, infiltration, terror and politics of appeasement.
बंगाल की जनता को कहना चाहता हूं, ये सरकार बंगाल के गरीबों के अधिकार को रोक कर बैठी। हम किसानों को पैसा भेजना चाहते हैं, किसानों की सूची नहीं मिलती। हम गरीबों को आयुष्मान भारत योजना के माध्यम से 5 लाख तक स्वास्थ्य का खर्चा देना चाहते हैं। आयुष्मान भारत योजना बंगाल के अंदर लागू नहीं होती। किस प्रकार की व्यवस्था आप कर? राजनीति की भी एक हद होती है और आप हमें कह रही है हम राजनीति कर रहे हैं।
Amit Shah also questioned the actions of Mamata Banerjee government regarding COVID-19 pandemic. He also attacked the state government on the issue of bringing migrant workers back. He said that Bengal has so far accepted only 236 trains carrying 3 lakh people, whereas Uttar Pradesh has taken 1,700 trains for migrant laborers. Bengal not only took lesser trains, but Mamata Banerjee even called the Shramik special trains as Corona Express. This is an outright insult to the migrant workers. Senior BJP leaders and Union Ministers Nitin Gadkari and Ravi Shankar Prasad will address Jan Samvad rallies today for Madhya Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh, respectively. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke on telephone with President of Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, and discussed the steps being taken by the two governments to address the challenges arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. Both the leaders expressed appreciation for the cooperation extended to ensure the welfare of their citizens in each other's territory, as also for their repatriation back home during the ongoing health crisis. Philippines President also appreciated the steps taken by India to maintain supply of essential pharmaceutical products to the Philippines. Prime Minister assured President Duterte of India's commitment to support Philippines in its fight against the pandemic and stressed that India's well-established capacity for manufacturing affordable pharmaceutical products, including for an eventual vaccine, once is found, would continue to be deployed for the benefit of the entire humanity. The leaders shared their satisfaction at the progress seen in recent years in all aspects of the bilateral relationship, including defense cooperation. Prime Minister emphasized that India sees the Philippines as a vital partner in the Indo-Pacific region. Prime Minister conveyed his best wishes to His Excellency President Duterte and the people of Philippines for the forthcoming National Day of the Philippines. The 16th meeting of the high-level group of ministers on COVID-19, chaired by Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, was held on Tuesday via a video conference. The group of ministers was briefed about the latest status, response and management of COVID-19 in the country. A brief snapshot was presented to the group of ministers, highlighting the comparative position of India vis-a-vis other countries in similar stage of easing the lockdown, underscoring the benefits that have accrued from the lockdown and how this can be leveraged in the management of the disease. Dr. Harshvardhan, chairman of the group of ministers, said that as we enter into Unlock 1 phase, where restrictions have been eased and curbs have been lifted, we need to be more disciplined in our behavior. He asserted, and I quote him, that let us also not forget the social vaccine against COVID-19 through strict adherence of norms of physical distancing, hand hygiene and mask and face covers. Meanwhile, it has been decided that high-level multidisciplinary central teams will be deployed to 15 states and union territories that have more than 50 districts or municipal bodies which are witnessing high caseload and high spurt of the cases. Now, these central teams will assist the state governments by providing technical support for containment and facilitation management of COVID-19 outbreak. And up next, we'll give you an update at the COVID-19 cases from across the country. A total of 1,29,313 people have been cured and discharged so far. This takes the total recovery rate to 48.47%. 1,29,813 active cases have been registered across the country. Maharashtra, meanwhile, continued to report the highest number of new cases in a single day. Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Gujarat and West Bengal also saw a spike in fresh infections from the virus. Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Girish Chandra Murmu, yesterday chaired a meeting to review the preparations being put in place for speedy implementation of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Chief Secretary, administrative secretaries of various departments participated in the meeting. The Lieutenant Governor said that various measures proposed under Abhiyan, encompassing several schemes, will not only boost recovery during COVID-19 pandemic, but will also enable the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir to become self-reliant. 7 task forces have been constituted under the chairmanship of various administrative secretaries. mandated with the task of ensuring hassle-free implementation of all the elements of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan in mission mode. Now, these task forces will have other secretaries and heads of departments as members and will work on convergence model to ensure optimum utilization of resources and time-bound outcomes. In Jammu and Kashmir, a fierce gunfight broke out between terrorists and security forces in Sugu Hendama area of South Kashmir Shopian district this morning. A joint team of police, Army's 44 Ashtra Rifles and CRPF launched a cordon and search operation in Sugu Hendama. As the joint team of forces approached towards the suspected spot, the hiding terrorists fired upon them. The fire was retaliated by the joint team, triggering off an encounter. Now, as per the reports, 2 to 3 terrorists are believed to be trapped. This is the third encounter in Shopian district in this week. 9 terrorists were killed in the last 2 encounters. Rudra Abhishek of Lord Shiva will be carried out today at Ram Janmabhoomi complex in Ayodhya. Kamal Nayan Das, the heir to Mahant Nritya Gopal Das of Mani Ram Das cantonment, will carry out the Rudra Abhishek. Mahant Nritya Gopal Das is also the chairman of Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust, built for the construction of Sri Ram Temple. Now, this ritual will be conducted at the Kubera Tila located in Ram Janmabhoomi complex. In international updates, the World Health Organization has urged countries to press on with the efforts to contain the novel coronavirus, noting that the pandemic was worsening globally and had not peaked in Central America. WHO Director General has told an online briefing that more than 136,000 cases were reported worldwide, the most in a single day so far. Brazil is now one of the hotspots of the pandemic, with the second highest number of confirmed cases behind only the United States and a death toll that last week surpassed Italy's. The number of infections worldwide is rising faster than ever. Now, according to the data from John Hopkins, over 72.37 lakh people have been infected with COVID-19 worldwide, while the United States tops with the highest number of infected cases, over 19.73 lakh, and over 1.11 lakh deaths due to COVID-19. Brazil stands second with over 7.07 lakh cases, followed by Russia with 4.84 lakh confirmed cases of COVID-19. The United Kingdom is on the third position, having 2.9 lakh confirmed cases of COVID-19. Though the number of cases of COVID-19 is increasing, but many countries have decided that this is the moment to ease lockdown restrictions. Brazil on Tuesday restored detailed COVID-19 data to its official national website following a ruling by Supreme Court that the full set of information be reinstated. The Health Ministry had removed the cumulative totals data for COVID-19 deaths and cases on Saturday, provoking uproar. Supreme Court Justice has told the ministry on Tuesday to fully re-establish the publication of COVID-19 data in the interest of public health. Brazil has the world's second highest number of cases and has now more than daily deaths higher than any other nation. The Latin American country has recorded more than 7 lakh infections, but because of insufficient testing, the number is believed to be much higher. More than 37,000 people have died, the third highest toll in the world. Meanwhile, President Jair Bolsonaro has set off a new political controversy after he said that he will consider pulling the country out of the World Health Organization once COVID-19 pandemic has passed. Bolsonaro has said that the WHO has not acted responsibly and has lost a lot of credibility, repeating recent criticism of what he claimed last week, that the body is political. In Spain, wearing masks in public will remain mandatory after the country's state of emergency ends on June 21st until a cure or a vaccine for the COVID-19 pandemic is found, according to Health Minister Salvador Illa. People in the country must continue to wear masks indoors and outdoors if they cannot guarantee a 1.5 meters distance from other people as part of a decree to govern conditions after the lockdown is lifted. 3 weeks ago, Spain made masks mandatory in all public spaces where adequate social distancing cannot be maintained. The rule applies to everybody over the age of 6 years. Spain currently has more than 241,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19, with deaths surging past 27,000. Eiffel Tower in Paris will reopen on June 25th from its longest closure since World War II, after being forced to shut for more than 3 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Wearing a face mask will be compulsory for all visitors from 11 years old onwards. The French government has started to ease lockdown measures from mid-May. The Palace of Versailles reopened on June 6th, while Louvre Museum will welcome back visitors from July 6th. Streets of a Houston suburb in U.S. were flooded with people accompanying the horse-drawn carriage of George Floyd's mortal remains to his funeral. The funeral memorialized him as an ordinary brother transformed by fate into the cornerstone of a movement. The event followed 2 weeks of massive protests over George Floyd, an African-American who succumbed to police brutality in Minneapolis. Meanwhile, protests continue to batter cities in the U.S. New York protesters marched in Brooklyn and Manhattan, encouraging demonstrators to continue to seek racial justice and equity everywhere, and calling on the city to cut funding to the police department in favor of funding other community-based projects. The protests were triggered by the death of George Floyd in the chokehold of a white policeman in Minneapolis. The protests in the U.S. against police brutality and racism have sparked series of demonstrations in various other parts of the world as well. More than 1,000 protesters converged on a college at Oxford University, chanting "Take it down" and "Shame on you," to demand the removal of a statue of 19th century British colonialist Cecil Rhodes. Ecuador's active Sangre volcano spewed ash on Tuesday, blanketing towns across 2 provinces, fueling concerns of a potential health impact as the South American nation slowly emerges from COVID-19 outbreak. The Sangre volcano has moderate eruptions for over a year now that have had little impact because of its remote location, but a recent change in wind patterns has pushed ash towards the coast and affected areas, including the largest city there. Located in southern Amazonian province of Morona, Santiago, the volcano sent clouds of ash over the towns of Guamot, Alosi and Cibodas in the central Chimborazo province and communities in southwest Guayas province. That's it in this edition of the News this hour. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.